Hello, dear friends. This is Kira Rudik, member of Ukrainian parliament and leader of the political party Holos. I'm speaking from Kyiv, Ukraine. This week has been incredibly tough for Ukraine's politics, with President Zelensky unexpectedly dismissing one government, appointing another one, and simultaneously sending home a very popular Minister of Defense, Mykhailo Fedorov, with people being upset about this and going on the streets to protest against. What's happening and what's gonna happen next, we will discuss right away. But before, please subscribe to this channel and like this video. Also, please leave a comment. I really enjoy reading them, replying to them, and being able to communicate with you, my dear audience. So this week is the last parliamentary week before the summer recess that would last about a month. And we honestly didn't have too much of a political stuff planned, and literally nobody anticipated what have happened. So on Sunday, President Zelensky invited Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko in, and when she left his office, she announced that herself and the whole government will resign. That was really unexpected because there were no particular issues that would appear in public. There were always issues like as in a normal country, even for the country at war. And we honestly didn't know what really caused it. Then when we started looking at it and talking to people, it turned out that President plans to dismiss Minister of Defense and replace him with somebody else. I need to explain to you that Minister Fedorov, who is a Minister of Defense, used to be a Minister of Digital Transformation, and we used to work closely because in the Ukrainian Parliament, I work as a first Deputy Chair of the Committee for Digital Transformation. So there has been this long path with him as a Minister of Digital Transformation, author of the amazing tools that Ukraine is using in terms of digital transformation, and now he has been a Minister of Defense for 6 months. There has been specific goals and targets put in front of him when he was appointed, and we really hoped and wished that he would achieve it. So that's why it was really unexpected for everyone, but there was a feeling that President will use this opportunity or perhaps create this opportunity to change a Minister of Defense to someone else. So there are a couple of things we need to discuss here. The first one is the objective reality, and it is that President is in his capacity to appoint whoever he wants, according to Ukrainian Constitution, as a Minister of Defense. Then rather is to vote for it or not, but usually we respect that Minister of Defense and Minister of Foreign Affairs is the President's roles, and he should be able to appoint them. And so there are no questions of that. Second point is President said that the reason for dismissing Minister Fedorov alongside with the whole government was that he had a conflict with the Chief of Ukraine's army, General Syrsky. But it is very clear that by the entity of their work, they should be able to work as a team, but they really have conflicting interests. So Minister of Defense is checking on Chief of Ukraine's army, and Chief of Ukraine's army is constantly demanding something from Minister of Defense. And this is fine, this is how it works in all democratic countries, that for the army there should be a civil control and they cannot be super duper friends. But according to President, the conflict was where it stopped being productive and that he was not able to continue handling the war at the situation like that, and he said that he is taking full responsibility. So this is a rare situation when you will hear me criticizing President Zelensky, because I think in this matter he made a mistake. Why I think that? Minister Fedorov has only been at his position for 6 months. 6 months is obviously not enough to deliver on the promises and to fix all the issues and implement all the reforms that were set in front of him and that he promised. Even 1 or 2 additional months would be significant in his role to show that he can work and figure out the way of moving forward. Some of the achievements of him as a Minister of Defense is that he agreed with Elon Musk to turn off Starlink for Russians, leaving their soldiers and their military basically blind at the front line, because Starlink is a system that's being actively used by Ukraine's army, but also by Russian army to attack each other with the drones. And turning on this system for Russia has been a huge deal that allowed our army to move back and regain certain territories and continue successfully attacking them. Second thing, ex-Minister of Digital Transformation and Minister of Defense was really technological and implementing the cutting-edge asymmetric things that are allowing us to be where we are right now. So I think it is really unfortunate that some of the projects that he started and ideas that he had, that they may not be implemented right now, or at least they are in jeopardy when he would not be in office. He also fixed the procurement system for the army, which is always corruption, high-level corruption risk matter, and many other things. But I think even giving him credit for these things should be enough for allowing him to continue for a little bit more. The grievances with current Minister of Defense were that he was supposed to fix the mobilization matter, where they were supposed to work with Chief of Ukraine's army together, and he was not able to do that. It's obviously a very complicated matter, but it is a critical matter. We now hear from our intelligence that Russia may announce mobilization end of September, and that's why we have to have enough people at the front line being able to fight if that happens. But also we have a huge amount of people who are fighting at the front line since 2022, and they just need to be replaced. They cannot take the burden and handle the burden of the whole Ukrainian nation, just this small strata of people. So they have to see a path that they're not fighting indefinitely, that they will be able to come back to their families at some points. Especially imagine being a volunteer in 2022 who stood up for Ukraine, for his family or her family, for our freedom, for our people, and then is now serving over and over again without any end in sight. I understand this is absolute injustice and it needs to be fixed. And this is on our political leadership, that are Minister of Defense and Chief of Army, to find a way on having more people in the army so then some of them can go home. Unfortunately, there has not been a huge progress on that. And this is why we are upset in many ways, and there were some people criticizing Minister of Defense. All in all, the way President has done it is he did not announce when he dismissed the government that he is doing it to dismiss Minister of Defense. He said that it's just new government needs to be appointed. He presented the new Prime Minister, and we hope that he will be a good choice. He used to work in Ukraine's energy sector. His name is Mr. Koretsky. Perhaps you will hear this last name. And he, yet again, will be gathering a government of technocrats. However, it was not really clear what was wrong with the previous government, previous cabinet. But all in all, he gathered a pretty decent team. And so today, it turns out that President Zelensky is not going to appoint Mr. Fedorov within this new cabinet. And what happened next is, again, even more amazing, because people who are not maybe pro-Fedorov and were not even understanding what was happening in terms of reforms or some internal political debates, but people felt that what happened was unfair and unjust. And people have done what we in Ukraine do very well. People went on the streets. There were peaceful protests against Minister Fedorov's dismissal throughout the countries. And you remember, like last year, there was a protest against stripping of their rights of anti-corruption organs that really pressured President to do the right thing. And there was a hope that this time President also will reverse his decision. Honestly, in my heart, I thought that he would do it too. Just a couple of minutes ago, before me recording this video, we have heard that President Zelensky appointed current chief of Internal Security Service as acting Minister of Defense. So this means, on one hand, that Ukraine is not going into 1 month being without Minister of Defense, which would be unacceptable during the wartime. But also this means that it is unlikely that Mr. Fedorov is returning to his position. And now he can see, maybe he will start some political career rather than career in the government. And I'm sure that he will continue fighting Russians and finding a way on how to make sure that we, at the end, win the war and end the war. But this has been a very emotional and very intense day where people didn't know what's going to happen. Minister Fedorov was gathering his supporters, including me, to figure out what can be done. We are very much concentrated on staying alive, making sure that we all survive and we go through this war. And it's very black and white. You need to support people who are helping us to survive through the war, and we should be stopping people who are not helping this main goal. Unfortunately, there are times when all those good people cannot find the common ground. This is what I believe happened. I again think that it was not the best decision by President Zelensky, and I did not support it in the parliament. I didn't vote neither for dismissal of the previous government nor for the appointment of the current one. But moving forward, we would need to appoint a working Minister of Defense and make sure that him or her and Chief of Ukraine's army will be able to work together effectively and efficiently. This is really crucial, not only for our personal survival, but of the survival of the nation. And I need for all of you to understand that behind all of this fighting and again like political turmoil, there is a clear understanding that we are a country at war and we should in Ukrainian parliament be acting as one. Please go ahead and read my Newsweek article about the rise of good Russians. It is very important and I will have an additional video on it. Thank you.